It's dorky, but I think it's cool. And then he smiles, and for a while I'm in love.
Hi, welcome to episode 15 of River's Knitting Chronicles. I'm River, and I keep getting this weird pop-up error message saying that the sound's not working, but then when I play it back, the sound is working, so I'm going to click out of this and keep recording, and hopefully we're okay. And yeah, it did it before, and there were no problems with the episode, so here's hoping that it's just a weird message. First things first, I am dead. It turns out I didn't read the rules very clearly and carefully, and there was a deadline to get the first pair of socks sent out, and I didn't finish in time. And when I first got the message, I was like, darn it, I wish that I'd paid closer attention. And then I thought, no, because it wouldn't have made any difference. I still wouldn't have gotten any more done than I did. So I'm still happy with what I made. I will sign up again next year because the patterns are gorgeous, but I will not sign up to be a competitor until I am no longer teaching. So I guess retirement or a lottery win, and then I'll try competing. Or they change it to where it's over the summer, but I don't see that happening because that's when Tour de Sock is over the summer, so I can't imagine they do them at the same time. So it's not going to be competitive sock snipering for me for a while, I guess. But that's okay. The patterns are gorgeous. I'm happy that I participated, and I wish it would have gone differently, but it's the way things are, and that's okay. I did cast on something new, and I'm excited for it. It is new. I cast it on from scratch, but I had attempted this pattern in the past, and it's either St. Michael or San Michel Beret. It is living in my absolute favorite knitting bag from Woman on the Side of the Road shopping, because that's where I got it. This cake of yarn, and I should have gotten the colorway for you guys. It's Malabrigo sock. The cake looks odd because I cast on for this hat last year. I had intended to make it as a gift for someone, and this, I might have told this story to y'all before, and if I have, I apologize, but this is a lesson in, I'm trying to sit up straighter, in always reading the pattern ahead, at least to the period of the sentence. So I was quickly going through and looking at the pattern, and I saw suggested needles, size 5, or I saw 5 DPNs. And I somehow or another translated that into size 5 DPNs. And so I thought, okay, it's calling for size 5s. I cast on size 6s and went to town and got through probably half of the pattern for this hat and thought, but it's lace, so it didn't look humongous. And then as I was going back and I was looking for something else, for some reason that sentence kind of stood out to me, and I looked at it, it said 5 DPN size 2s. So I had gone up majorly to a size 6. And I pulled back out what all I had done, and I kind of stretched out the lace to look at it, and it could have been the back of a sweater. It was humongous. It was certainly nothing that was going on the head of anybody that I know, or me, or any, like, it was huge. And so I was kind of annoyed with it, and I threw it in the bag for a little bit, and then I was like, you know what, you need to go ahead and rip it out before the yarn kind of sets like this, and then I know that you can, like, there are people who do reclaimed yarn and pull out sweaters that have been sweaters for years. I've never done that before, and I just thought, just rip it out. You can't, there's no fixing it at this point other than starting over. So I ripped it out, but I did not start over. I got the person that hat was for a gift card, which they were perfectly happy to get, and probably would have been perfectly happy to get in the first place, so I don't know why I was stressing out about trying to make them something. I'm not going to make that mistake again. But anyway, so that's why this cake is all funkified and elongated, because it tried to be this hat once before. I'm not super far along but the cast on in the first few rows were kind of a headache, so I'm very proud to be as far as I am. So this is the crown of the hat. So this is the very tippity top, that center medallion little hole. And so it is called the Saint Michael or San Michel, it's Saint spelled out and then M-I-C-H-E-L Beret. And the pattern is free, pattern on Ravelry. And, hold on a second, I can't believe I didn't grab it. I have a birthday present that I'm going to show you in a little bit, but, oh shoot, I thought I'd, well, you can't really see it. Let me see. Can you see? No. Well, darn it, that didn't work. I was going to show off my birthday present. I will show off my birthday present in a minute, but, so, the pattern, in the pattern, she says that it started out as a doily pattern, so it's very patterned on top. It's really pretty. It's very lacy. I love, love, love knitting really lacy patterns. So it started out as a doily, and she had sent the doily pattern to a friend, and the friend had turned it into a hat. And so she took her friend's hat pattern, and there are 3 different ways to do it and it's a free pattern, so that's awesome. So in this pattern, and it's charted, it's not written out. So if you can't do charts, this is a good place to try to learn some charts, because it's a great, if you really like super lacy patterns like that, then it's a great place to start. And it is, anyway, they have it for fingering weight, so sock yarn. They have it also written out for DK weight, and there are pictures of it that way. It looks a little chunky to me, so that's not my bag, baby. And then they had the original that the friend did, which was also DK, but it was shaped a little bit differently. So there's 3 different ways to do the pattern in the pattern. I chose the sock weight because I live in Florida. I don't need a super heavyweight hat anyway. I thought that this color would look good in my hair. I know I knit with this color a lot, but here it is again. I know I have a sweater sitting right behind it that's pretty much the same color. So this Malabrigo sock, Tisuni red, that tea color red. And I am knitting it on, so it called for size 2s, and I am a tight knitter, as you know, if you've been watching my show. So I'm knitting it on size 3, Chai Goose. The cast on was tough right through some of the first rows, obviously, to get the roundness. There's a lot of yarn overs, and doing yarn overs on these, they can not want to scoot up the needle, which can be quite the pain in the tush, but I think I'm far enough along that I'm past there. It's a really interesting get your mind off of everything, and it's force you to focus, but it's still relaxing to me. If you don't like lace knitting, this wouldn't be for you, but for me, this is a great pattern to work on. I'm really enjoying it. I'm 11 or 12, 13 rows in, and it doesn't even go to row 100, so I think it's going to be pretty quick. I'm hoping that it's going to be pretty quick. I'm hoping to get done by the end of the month, but I at least have cast on something new for this month if I have to. So, but I'd like to finish it. I'd like to have it for when it does get chillier. I'm sorry, there's something flying around if you see me swatting. There's a gnat or something flying around. So, last year, I took them down when I put up something for the sock sniper, and I haven't put them back up. But last year I put 3 things into the county fair. I don't feel confident in the sweater enough. Like, I know where the mistakes are. I know that it's not perfect enough to be entered in a fair. I have a few pairs of socks that I've done, but I also don't feel I don't feel like they're anywhere close to perfect. My toe shaping is odd, and my gusset shaping, I have trouble with gussets and having them not be kind of lumpy under the bottom of the foot right there. And so that's an issue that I had with some of the socks that I've done over this past year. So I do like knitting. I do like knitting lace, and I do enjoy knitting hats. So I'm thinking that I might, if I do finish this hat in time, I'll enter it in the county fair just so that I have an entry in, because I like doing that and it's fun, and you know, I don't have anything as impressive as the Harry Potter shawl or the other shawl. I do have the TARDIS shawl, but I know that there are mistakes in the actual TARDIS's section. They stick out to me. I don't know if they would stick out to the judges, but they stick out to me, and so I'm not again, it's not perfect, so it's not something that I'd be comfortable entering in the competition. So I probably won't enter that either. So that's the new thing. So anyway, that's the new thing that I have cast on that I hope to get done by the end of the month. I also have a gift for my daughter. She is graduating in December, so it might be a graduation present or part of her Christmas. It depends kind of when I get it done, but I'm not going to show it right now. But it is still in the needles. I haven't really messed with it. I did want to, even though I haven't knit on them, it's been a while since you've seen them, so if you are newer to the show, I'm not even sure which is in which bag. Okay. This is it's the exact same yarn in the same colorway. It's just, I have a whole nother wound ball of it back here, and so this is the same colorway as the hat. It's called the Ex Libris, and it is a holder for my Nook. As you just saw when I talk about my early birthday present, I don't use my Nook as much because it doesn't have network capabilities, and I now have something that does. But my Nook, I think, can go back to, it never actually was, so it can become really a book reader, and I can do internet type things on my birthday present I'm going to talk about. So I think that this will be great for it. My Nook, it's gotten to the point where my purse gets, especially during the school year, my purse gets really heavy, so I've even stopped carrying it around. But I think this will be a nice little case for it once I get done. So it's called the Ex Libris, and it is from the book Stitchin' in the Stacks, and it's by Cooperative Press. And this pattern itself is by Sharon Fuller. I am, I think, a fourth of the way up. And the way the pattern works, it's pretty much a solid knit up, and then there is a very nice design on it, but it's done in duplicate stitch over it. So it will have some visual interest when I get done with it, but right now it's pretty much just kind of knitting in the round sort of thing. But when I really want something mindless, that'll be a good thing to pick up. The other thing that I have still on the needles, and I might get to this afternoon or this evening and do a few rows on it. The yarn is so soft, is the Gyre Cowl. It is by Elizabeth Elliott. And it is, as you can see, it's color work. I'm doing it in Malabrigo Silky Merino. And it's got this great scroll work patterning in it. I love knitting lace. I'm not as big a fan of color work. I'm not as big a fan of having to switch back and forth. I just like kind of being able to go to town and having something interesting coming out at the end. So this one is one where when I am actively working on it, I'll do a few rows and then just kind of and move on. I really love the final product. All of the switching, having to switch the cakes and the balls and trying not to get wound up and all of that stuff. I'm not a big fan of doing that. So I do like it. I love the yarn. I love that the pattern's beautiful. Just color work isn't my most favorite thing to knit. Lace is my most favorite thing to knit. So that's my knitting content. Yay, I had knitting content. And I sound like myself for the most part. I am still a little bit stuffy, as you heard. And so I'm going to try to not go too long in the show. If I talk for too long, I'll start coughing like that. It's just, I think when the original really bad cold part hit, I scratched something up in the coughing. I hurt something in here, I guess. And so it doesn't like to get used for long periods of time, and that gnat is still flying around. Anyway, so it does start me coughing. I keep a bag of cough drops. It happens. I didn't have as bad a problem last school year, so I was hoping I'd get away with it this year, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like I've got the teacher cough kind of thing. Yes. It's been a little bit since I did a show. The cold ended up coming back. Like, I'd pretty much gotten pretty close to over it. I was starting to sound like myself, and then it just, all of a sudden, I got stuffy all over again. The cough returned all over again. I started losing my voice all over again. I was like, I can't do this all winter. But hopefully, that was just like remnants trying to, stick a hand back up and wave before it disappeared, because I'm feeling pretty good. This is going to be an odd week at school. There's testing in the middle of the week, and then Friday is a teacher day, so it's going to be a pretty light week, so I'm happy about that. Let's see, what else? My birthday is Thursday, October 17th, and I got my first birthday present already. It came incredibly quickly. We ordered it. I generally tend to like to be surprised, but this one I didn't want a surprise. I told him exactly what to get. So I wanted a grown-up phone, as I like to call them. What was happening was my son, he is a dancer at the Tallahassee Ballet, and he has, on Monday, after I pick him up and we go to dance, he's in there, he's got 2 different classes with a break in between, so we go and eat together. But I'm kind of sitting in the lobby for 2 hours, and I've taken papers and things to grade, and I've taken my Nook, but their Wi-Fi wasn't working, and I was just miserable, and I just needed some sort of entertainment. The old location, it would have been fine, because the old location was close enough to our house that I could drive home in less than 10 minutes and stay home and then drive back and pick him up when his class was over. But they've switched locations to the point where by the time I got home, I'd pretty much have to just turn around and go back. And so that just seemed a total waste to just sit and, just drive and waste gas and waste time. But I was also pretty miserable. The seating in the new lobby is so uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. The whole thing is just uncomfortable. So anyway, to try to make it not so miserable, I got what I call a grown-up phone. And I have a really cool phone case too. It is not a TARDIS. It is a blue police box, per the company that sold it to me. So it's a grown-up phone. It has network. It has wireless. It's one of the no contract things that's a very, very reasonable price, because I completely understand that this is not in the least bit a necessity. I had a phone. If I had an emergency, I had a track phone that cost me $19 and then like $20 every 3 months to keep minutes and service on it. So for in case of emergency, I was covered, but there was no entertainment value. So I knew this was just entertainment, so I got, actually I ended up getting the same phone and the same plan that my daughter has. It's incredibly reasonable to spend that for basic entertainment. Now that I have a phone that does all the fancy stuff, I have an Instagram. There's no knitting stuff on there, so don't go looking. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, it's the same as my Twitter. It is I am River Cameron. That's my Instagram name, and you're welcome to follow me, but it's not, thus far, it's not been any knitting stuff. It's been mostly like the set for the show and selfies, because I'd like to try to learn how to take good ones of those, so I've been kind of playing with that. And then, of course, people make fun of me, but that's okay. As people do it all the time, and I was like, well, it's okay, I'll try it. So I understand the draw now, because I have a image of what I look like in my head. I know what I look like in a mirror, so it's how do I get hold of my phone in such a way that I can look like me in the end. And so, yeah, it's a little embarrassing, I guess, but what can you do? It's fun. It's for me. And you don't have to, nobody has to sign up to or follow me if they're not interested in that type of thing. Anyway, Other things that have been going on. One of the viewers and my Ravelry friends, Therese, her Rav name is GMB3TCD. I was never going to remember that, so I wrote it down. She was in town, and so we visited for a couple of hours at Starbucks, and we had the best time. And it was really nice to kind of get away from everything and talk. And I didn't bring knitting, which I guess was silly in hindsight, but we didn't need it. We just talked and talked and talked and enjoyed Starbucks. And they had pumpkin things up, so that was interesting. So that was nice. And she was down for a few days, and hopefully we'll get to visit again when she comes back. I signed up for... This is my conundrum. I did sign up for Super Summer Knit Together with the Knit Girls. I really hope that I get picked. If I do not get picked, LeakyCon is going to be in Orlando like the week after SSK. So there's no way I could possibly do both. So I'm thinking that whether or not I'm picked is, fate's way of telling me which thing that I should try to do. So I really would like to do Super Summer Knit Along. I would really also like to do LeakyCon. So either way it happens, I'm not going to be upset. Every time I think of either one, I'm like, oh, but I really want to do that. Oh, but I really want to do that. Oh, but I know I live in Florida, but I'm something like 9 hours from Orlando. It's far from here. The state of Florida is really long. People tend to not realize how spread out our state is. And I've been to Disney a couple of times, mostly as a kid, but I have not been to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter yet. And I really want to go. And the draw to doing that, and other than the fact that I really want to go and the thought of being around all of those Harry Potter fans at once would be amazing, would be that it would be something that my family could do, as I don't know how much my husband would want to hang around Harry Potter stuff and people, but we could all go to Orlando and have a good time for the most part together. Where SSK would be kind of an alone vacation, but alone vacations are nice too, and I actually haven't taken one since I've been married, so, and there will be lots and lots of Ravelry folks and people that I've been talking to for years that I consider good friends that I've never actually sat down with face to face, and so that would be the draw there. So they're both amazing things, but short of winning the lottery, I can't do both. So I will let fate determine if I get selected for SSK, then I will plan on LeakyCon for another year. And if I don't get selected for SSK, I think I'm going to tell them to not put me on, to go ahead and not have me on the waiting list, and I'll just plan to go to LeakyCon. And hopefully there'll be some knitters at LeakyCon, and the thought of going to something huge like that where for that aspect of it I'd be alone is a little intimidating, but it is Harry Potter stuff, so I think I can handle. Let's see, what else is going on? My daughter and her boyfriend in London, it's their 1-year anniversary today, so happy anniversary, Gyre and Chris. They met at the Taming of the Shrew at the Globe 1 year ago today. He was in it, and he stole a kiss from her, and then they got to talking, and the rest is history. And he has booked a number of jobs in a row, so it looks like he's going to be able to come to visit for her graduation. It does not look like the visa stuff is going to be completed in time for her to go ahead and move back. She's explained it to me. I don't want to try to explain it to you because I understand it enough when she says it, but there's a lot of stuff going on with the different kind of visas, and the visa that they want to get is now being challenged in the court in a way that if the challenge works out, it'll be easier for them rather than more difficult, but it's just a question of, for the time being, it's on hold, if I'm understanding what she's telling me correctly. So they're kind of in a holding pattern. I don't think she'll still be here a year from now. I'm almost positive. I would be surprised if she was still here in Florida or in the States a year from now. But it probably will be closer to spring or summer when she actually gets, when everything is settled and she is able to go ahead and go. So, but he's booked, I think he's got a film that he's going to be working on, and then he's booked a tour of a play that he starts rehearsals in January, so that leaves him open for December, and knowing that he's got money coming in, they can go ahead and spend the money for him to come and attend her graduation. And I don't know if he's planning to stay for the whole time until Christmas or how long the trip will get to be, but so it'll be nice to get to see him. I know she'll be really happy to get to see him too. They do a really good job with the distance, but I know that it's tough on both of them. So okay, so yeah, that's pretty much everything I have on my list, and I'm at almost 30 minutes, so I think I'm going to call it. So yeah, this week I think, well, I've still got rehearsals, but again, it's a light week as far as school goes. I've got my birthday on Thursday, so hopefully that'll be fun, and maybe I'll get some more cool things and I shall share them with you. And hopefully I will be much farther along on this hat, and you'll be impressed that I'm finding knitting time again, because I'm impressed when I find knitting time again. And so I think that's pretty much it. The blog is riversknittingchronicles.com. We're on YouTube. The channel is Rivers Knitting Chronicles. I have a Twitter. I haven't tweeted Twitter in a long time since life got hectic. I haven't really used the Twitter, but it's I am River Cameron. The Instagram is I am River Cameron, and yeah, so, and I'm River Cameron on Ravelry, so I should be fairly easy to find if you want to contact me and say hey. And the group is Rivers Knitting Chronicles as well, and we are at 100 members. We've been kind of oscillating right through there. I understand with episodes not being as regular as some people would hope, that some folks are leaving the group, and I get it, and that's okay. Hopefully the show closes in less than a month, and hopefully once the play is done, I will definitely be able to knit on a more regular basis, and things will calm down, so we'll have the show on a more regular basis. And so anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate you dealing with my coughing and my cold and my everything, and I hope to see you guys maybe in a week. Knock on wood. Okay, bye.